Hello everyone, my name is Livia Manzini and I'm a PhD researcher at the University of Birmingham. Today I'm going to explore the recent results of my PhD research, which mainly focuses on the role of correct pronunciation and intonation in teaching Italian as a foreign language. And it also investigates different teaching strategies, such as blended learning, that can be adopted in order to enhance the attention on these skills and also in order to assess segmental and suprasegmental features. First of all, I'm going to share my screen with you in order to show you a brief presentation that I prepared for today. So first of all, today I'm going to talk about the online training of Italian pronunciation and intonation that I've carried out in the past few months with my first year, second year, and fourth year students of Italian at the University of Birmingham. So although many scholars in the past pointed out the beneficial effects of pronunciation and intonation training in the foreign language class, especially in terms of final learning outcomes, however, both these skills have been widely neglected and still play a minor role in the academic curriculum. This is particularly true for Italian, as pronunciation and intonation in Italian generally considered very easy to learn, and so something that the students can pick up along the way and something they don't need a specific training for. So in this respect, I've recently carried out a research project regarding the analysis of 14 primers widely used to teach Italian as a foreign language to university students and adults in the past 15 years, so from 2005 to 2020. This research has two main aims. The first one is to define the status of pronunciation and intonation training in textbooks, especially by investigating the location of pronunciation and intonation exercises and explanations in the primers. And secondly, it also tries to find out future directions for a more systematic, inclusive, and appropriate coverage of these skills in and out of class. In order to achieve these aims, the objective views are, first of all, the identification of the theoretical approaches mainly used for the elaboration of pronunciation and intonation exercises and activities offered by the primers analyzed. Secondly, the naming of the types of different exercises offered for the different level of language proficiency. And finally, the evaluation of textbooks, explanations, and exercises. So in particular, I've tried to find out whether the explanations are present, which kind of information they present, and also if they are enough in order to allow the students to have some sort of autonomous training for these skills. So the results show that, first of all, explanations are not widely included in primers, and they're usually presented in the form of phonological rules that the students are required to complete, for example. And secondly, the second result is that the primers analyzed are mainly based on a combination of the articulatory and the perceptive approach for the elaboration of the activities and exercises offered. So basically, the students are often required to listen to a recording and then to perform themselves specific sounds or groups of sounds. Regarding the types of exercises offered by the primers analyzed, they perfectly reflect the combination of the articulatory and perceptive approaches, so that we have, as you can see in the slide, many listen and repeat, listen and write exercises. And an important result that emerged from this analysis is that exercises such as role plays or other form of drama techniques that basically ask the student to perform not only verbally but also physically some sort of pronunciation intonation training are just a few. So in order to understand why role plays or other drama techniques are not particularly used for the training of pronunciation and intonation, I've tried to elaborate some sort of exercises and activities that could be used as a complementary model together with the exercises and activities already offered by the primers, and which, through a series of very simple but effective activities, could help the students in the achievement of better results concerning segmental and suprasegmental features, also in a more realistic and meaningful way. So what I decided to do is to find 3 types of exercises that I could use for the different level of language proficiency at the Italian, at the Modern Languages Department of the University of Birmingham. So for the beginners and intermediates, I've decided to use loops, which are brief dialogues for which neither a contextualization nor the characters' relationships or social status are provided. And so the students are totally free to decide the context, the communicative context in which these dialogues happen, and also to decide the relationships between the characters and also the kind of social status that they have. Moreover, the fact that these dialogues are very brief, so no more than 10 lines, and that they are characterized by a very colloquial, informal language, seems to be particularly relevant for beginners and intermediates, as these dialogues allows them to, in a way, also improve their vocabulary, their speaking and listening skills, and so the students can, at the same time, practice pronunciation and intonation, but also other linguistic skills. On the other hand, for advanced students, I decided to use sayings and tongue twisters, which are really linked to the Italian cultural background. And so for advanced students, generally already know the core sounds of the target language, and they also know the sounds that they may find particularly difficult to master. So what I wanted to do was to give them some sort of idiomatic expressions, which are generally covered in advanced level of language proficiency, and which could help them in order to achieve a better intonation, especially because sayings and tongue twisters have a sort of nursery rhymes rhythm, which in a way it's make it easier for them to understand how intonation works in Italian, for example, and how to improve their intonation. And also, I've tried to find out some sayings and tongue twisters which could particularly focus on specific sounds or groups of sounds that even advanced students may find still difficult to master. And so, for example, in the slide, you can see a saying and a tongue twister for the training of the rolling R, which is one of the main characteristics of Italian, and another saying regarding double consonants, which are really important in Italian, as a mispronunciation regarding double consonants may also lead to misunderstandings, of course, because there are some words which just differ for one letter. And also regarding tongue twister and other very difficult sounds for English native speakers is Lia. And in this case, they can practice as many times as they want. So I was also able to prepare a questionnaire for my students in order to collect from the very first few weeks of this term some sort of feedback regarding the activities and exercises done in class. So the first comment is that activities allow them to practice skills which are not usually included in the academic curricula in a very motivating, enjoyable, and meaningful way. So motivating and enjoyable are 2 adjectives that are really important in order to keep the motivation levels high. And also a meaningful way, because these exercises basically are set in real, meaningful communicative context. And so the students find them particularly relevant, as they can use also the vocabulary and the grammar expression used also while they speak to native speakers, for example, or to other speakers of Italian. Another comment was that they have a sheer will to improve their pronunciation and intonation, although these skills are not included usually in the academic curricula or in the exercises and activities which are usually done in class. And also because they consider these skills necessary in order to achieve the native speaker-like level of language proficiency. And in the end, they also show a deep interest in specific training of pronunciation and intonation, not only to reach a native speaker-like pronunciation and intonation level, but also because they may also be interested in gaining a particular accent or in achieving a particular some particular words of slangs, for example. And so they find these activities really relevant in order to achieve these purposes. And so thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and have a good day.